What's going on, everyone? We are back to another episode of Everything USA Prime. I am your host, as usual, Nick Swanson. Our goal with this podcast is very simple. We want to introduce everyone to the incredible people that kind of help make USA Prime what they are today. Every market kind of has their own story. Every director has their own vision. And today we're actually headed to Connecticut to meet one of our newest partners. So joining me today is Sam Rubin, Director of USA Prime Hartford Valley. Sam, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So love kicking this stuff off. Obviously, you guys are brand new. Honestly, probably a month into it, to be honest with you. So,
yeah, it's not like that.
For everyone that doesn't know who the heck you are, I guess tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, where did you grow up? Baseball background. You know, kind of how did you get this thing kind of started?
Yeah, so I grew up here. I grew up in Manchester, Connecticut. My main residence has been here all 33 years of my life. So born and raised here. My dad's coached here for about that long between basketball and baseball. And then my grandmother was a religious school teacher here when I was growing up. And so I've lived here my whole life, and then went off to North Carolina, actually Greensboro for high school, and then Charlotte for college. I did not play in college, actually. I swam. If you can believe it or not. Yeah, I was a competitive swimmer at some point, and then I don't know, the teaching, coaching blood started to boil within me, and I stopped cooking. I went to culinary school. I stopped cooking, and I started coaching baseball, and yeah, that's kind of where we are now.
Awesome. I feel like, dude, there's so many baseball players that actually also swim. It's kind of weird, but I like it. You know, it kind of deals with the arm motion and so forth. So
yeah, what I liked about it is like it was a lot of the solo mission that baseball is, like, you know, like late nights in the facility, early mornings in the facility by yourself. But then it had a similar team aspect where, you know, baseball obviously has more of a team aspect where you're making plays with other people. But in swimming, it can sometimes be similar, right? Where like you're scoring points for the team or you're on a relay for the team. So I don't know, the mental stuff that I had built up from baseball kind of slid into that very well.
Yeah, no, I love it. So before USA Prime, obviously, I to be honest with you, I can't remember for the life of me, Sam, what you guys used to be called.
Yeah.
What were you guys?
So we were a program called the Silk City Slammers.
That's right.
So I was actually in my grandmother's kitchen with my dad. So we're Jewish by trade, so we do like Friday night dinners together and the whole thing. So we were in my grandmother's kitchen, and we were like, my dad that was the president of Manchester Little League at the time. I was just kind of out of college, like, you know, coaching a little bit, but like not doing anything serious. And we're like, okay, well, we have this issue of all these kids leaving Little League basically to do whatever, right? And so we wanted to build like an inclusive travel program for the Little League kids. And so that's kind of where Silk City Slammers came about. Manchester used to be known as the Silk City. There's a bunch of like silkworms and silk and stuff made there in the early 1900s. And so we started that program there. Now, obviously, that's expanded to now we have like, you know, 60 girls trying out for softball this weekend, and, you know, baseball teams traveling all over the place. So it's grown from there. But that's kind of, you know, the roots of where it started. So.
No, that's awesome. I love the name too, Silk City Sluggers. I think that's awesome. We're moving. Guys that don't know this, Silk City Sluggers is now USA Prime Hartford Valley. I love both names. I think it's an awesome kind of introduction to what we're doing. So really, really cool stuff. So I guess let's kind of take a touch back here. Lessons in baseball. What has baseball taught you in general, kind of when it comes to running a business kind of like this?
Got you. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is just to be able to fail and keep on moving, right?
Absolutely.
You know, I'm sure we're going to get into the story at some point, but right before I joined USA Prime, the building that we were renting, which was going to be my full-time income, I was going to run a gym, the whole thing, had a huge like gas leak and shut down. And so, you know, then we found this, and you just kind of take your licks and keep on ticking. You know what I mean? You figure out how you got beat and why you got beat, and you get back in the lab and you try to fix it. So that's definitely the biggest thing that baseball's taught me, you know, business-wise. And then also that sense of community, right? Like a shortstop's only as good as his first baseman, right? Like a catcher's only as good as his pitcher. Like you're only as good as the people that surround you. And so I'm very lucky. Like my sister's involved, my dad's involved. there's a bunch of parents that, will be involved in USA Prime Hartford Valley that all have had kids playing for me for the last 8 or 9 years. So the community that we have is very special and definitely something that's important, in the business realm as well.
Right. No, I love that. I think a lot of, travel work out there, like they don't think about the community when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I think it's awesome that you guys are doing it that route.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to kind of see where you guys grow and so forth. So super exciting stuff. So I guess when it comes to USA Prime, obviously we're Silk City Sluggers. Why make the change? Why was USA Prime kind of the right fit to kind of take over Silk City Sluggers?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a lot that goes into that. There's personal stuff, there's like board stuff, whatever. But basically, it just kind of felt like a Slammer. Sorry, not Sluggers. Sluggers is actually another team here also. No. Gotcha. So it's very funny. So so our first year in 2017, I coached this kid, Jacob Perez. He's now the starting third baseman at Elms College up in Massachusetts. His dad started a CCYBL, so a Connecticut summer league team in Manchester, and so their name is the Silk City Sluggers, kind of to pay homage to us. So there are two teams, so that does actually get confusing.
Okay.
Yeah, that does actually get confusing, but basically, baseball in Manchester, little leagues everywhere. Not that it's dried up, but there are definitely less little league teams and stuff than there were. So we kind of found ourselves, okay, now we're merged with Coventry at the 9U baseball level. Now we're merged with this town Granby at the softball level. Okay, well, there's all these mergers happening, and the more towns you get involved, the more red tape you have to deal with. Well, now this town doesn't want to rent us the field because we're supposed to be splitting the fields evenly with this other town, this, and this. And so it just kind of made sense at some point for us to say, hey, we're just going to do our thing on our own. Obviously, we, have relationships with towns for fields, and we'll pay them separately, and we'll rent fields the way everyone has been for years at this point. But it just kind of made sense to kind of do something together. It also allows us to work within all the confines. So what I mean by that is, for our 10-year-old baseball players, we don't really want to play. We don't want to schedule tournaments when those kids are supposed to be in all-stars, right? We believe that, like, okay, they're playing little league, they're representing their town, they're representing their state. Hopefully, like, we want them to do that thing. Under the USA Prime banner, you guys like give us that freedom to be like, okay, well, if you want to take a month off and let the kids play all-stars, like, go for it. And so things like that we find really beneficial, again, to our community and to building that community, here. So
I love that. Hey, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with, when we start talking about kind of the vision for USA Prime Hartford Valley, what kind of a two-part question here, but what is the vision that you see kind of going into the future? And then obviously what kind of separates you guys from everybody else? Obviously ton of organizations in travel baseball. So what kind of separates you guys and what's that vision?
Yeah. So I think two things. One, I guess, will be the vision. The vision is we want a place where not necessarily the best athletes, but the most dedicated and the best people come to train. That's really, really important for us. We want great kids. We want great parents. We want great people in our gym and wearing our uniform and on our field. Not necessarily just the best athletes. And I think that it really stands true. Like, our 16-year-olds have a GPA requirement to go to their out-of-state tournament this year. That if they don't hit, they don't get to go. And so we're really big on like building great people. And because at the end of the day, like a very, very, very small fraction of these guys are going to do this ever, for money. So making sure they have all of that. So that's kind of the vision. Is there's a lot of programs. A lot of them are win first. A lot of them are, hey, we're going to get all the best players. And then if you have all the best players and you're playing not the best players, you don't always have to coach them. Well, we want the guys that want to be coached hard. We want the guys that want to work hard. We want the guys that want to be held to high standards. And we find that with those guys and with that coaching, that style, well, we build great community, we build great family, and we also hopefully help these guys, grow into, young men and women. So that's kind of the vision. And then in terms of what separates us, a big thing is we're not going to do B teams this year. We've kind of already committed to that. We want to focus on building the best teams we can. If you make a USA Prime Hartford Valley roster, you are making the USA Prime Hartford Valley A team, right? There's no there's no B teams or anything like that. We obviously do offer like developmental programs, right? If kids
Right,
want to
right.
come in and hit and pitch and train and lift and practice and do all that, they can. But in terms of putting our products on the field, that's kind of something different in this area, I would say. I know of teams that had tryouts this weekend and they made you basically say yes or no within 48 hours. Well, you could be on a B team paying $2,500 or whatever it is a summer, and you have like 48 hours to commit. You don't even get to test the water. So I think that makes us really different in the area. The other thing that makes us really different in the area is we do have a great community and we do have great support. I would bet that we fundraise more than almost any other team in the area, which helps not only keep costs down for kids, but also allows us to do cool things. Like both our 12s and 16s are going to Cooperstown next weekend,
Heck yeah.
all in the same trip. So like all 6 coaches in the program will be there. All the kids will be there. It's going to be a great time. But that all happened because they fundraised $20,000 or whatever to go. So I think what makes us different is that that community part is important to us, maybe over the dollar signs in a lot of situations, right? And I think keeping that is going to help us stay different, but I also think it helps the mission, which is if every kid and every family knows they're important and knows their value, that helps us create a better community, right? Like, because that's what people want at the end of the day. So
yeah. No, I absolutely love that. And I think, our listeners out there, like if I'm living in Connecticut, like this is where I'm going.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I think this is awesome. And I guess, guys that are listening right now, what ages, Sam, do we have for the upcoming year? Do you run 8 through 18U or what do you have?
Yeah, so softball will have 10s through 14s. So softball goes every 2 years, so we'll have 10s, 12s, 14s. We may have either a 13s or an 11s as well, depending on tryouts. I think we have 55 girls signed up right now for tryouts this weekend for a 3-day tryout. We, you know how it is. People trickle in, whatever. So we'll have 60 or 70 by the end of it. So those are our softball ages. We're not into those high school ages yet. I'm sure we will be in the coming years as our girls age up. And then on the baseball side, we'll have a juniors program. So we'll have like 6, 7, and 8-year-olds. That's actually going to be run by one of the high school coaches here locally, the East Hartford High School coach. So that will be really, really awesome. And then we'll have like an 8, 9U developmental, a 10U closed bases. That's also a weird thing. Most people disagree with me. I don't think 10U should play open bases, but like, sorry. So we'll have a 10U. We'll have a 13U, and then we'll have like a 16, 17. That may split into 2. We'll kind of see how numbers look. That's kind of where we plan to start.
Awesome. No, I'm super excited. Like I can only imagine, I like I said, I'd love to play for you guys if I lived in Connecticut. I'm over here in Michigan, but I've been to Connecticut a couple times. If I was around there, I would want to play there. So that's awesome. I'm assuming goal is, to have one team at every age group. Is that kind of what we're looking at, Sam?
Yeah, and a lot of the tournaments up here do like double ages. I don't know if they do that there. So like 17, 18 is often a mix, 15, 16 is often a mix. So I think like just because of high school levels, a lot of the programs here actually play kids down, which I don't love. Like we always play our kids up, but that's how you kind of end up with seniors playing 16U and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So I think the plan is to kind of have the high school levels by the top 2 classes. So like in theory, after this year, we'll have like a 2028s, a 2029s. Maybe we'll have like a 2030, 2031 mix, just because like those kids, you know what I mean? Those kids could go either way. But then yes, to have 10s, 11s, 12s, 13s, 14s, and then those high school groups.
Awesome. So let's say I'm a family joining USA Prime Hartford Valley. What kind of experience or what could I kind of expect, from a baseball or softball standpoint if I join?
Well, you're going to get very hands-on coaching. That's one of the big things we ask all of our families. We're like, does your child love baseball or softball? That's like number 1. Do they want to get better? And I usually ask the parents if they have a little thick skin, because if all those 3 things are correct, your kid's going to end up being a great player, awesome. And they're going to have a great time, right? Those are all going to happen. So one is those expectations. Like we're going to coach your children, we're going to be involved. The other thing is that the softball program director Sabrina and I are involved in everything. Like I'm at as many softball practices I can get to, especially in the winter, right? In a facility, as you know, it's easy to kind of be everywhere. So I'm always looking in at all the softball practices. I'm talking to girls, I'm talking to parents. Sabrina's the same way. I'm very involved on the baseball side as well. So you're really going to get a hands-on experience that, again, I think helps develop that sense of community, right? You're going to know, like, the people scheduling everything. You're going to know them by name. The people, helping you with, funds and stuff like that. You're going to know them by name. All the coaches you're going to know. So that's very important. The other big thing is we preach a lot of like individuality, especially in our winter programming. So as you know, like one of the big ways to make money around here is in this space is to do private lessons. And, we do our fair share of those too, but we don't let that take away from the practice product. Meaning, like, if you're a kid, if we see something in the cage and we have 3 coaches and there's 10 girls at practice, like, well, those other 2 coaches can run the other 9 girls. We'll take your girl aside and we'll make sure that, like, she gets what she needs on that day. And we track that and we make sure they're working on their things and the whole thing. But that's kind of it. Is like, it is a big family. You're going to know everyone. You're going to get coached by everyone. We're going to do our best to help the individual athletes as well as the team. And so, yeah, again, there are a lot of, as you and I know, there are a lot of families and parents out there, and it's not their fault, but, their kid has, a bad game or a bad practice and the sky's falling. That's not necessarily what we're into. We're very long-term, the kids on our 17U team, this season are kids that have played with us since they were 10. So, and they've all had their ups and downs, right? They've all had games where they go 0 for 4 and all have games where they go for 4. They've all had practices where they come home and they're like, coaches are mean to me today. And they've all had practices where they come back and they're like, oh, wow, I learned so much. I'm getting so much better. So we're really about that, like, long-term, long vision. We want to make your athletes great, not just because it makes them great at baseball, but because we think it makes them great at life too. So.
Yeah, and we've talked about it numerous times. Like, hey, what do you look for in a partner? What do you look for, with certain organizations that want to come over and whatever else? And we always talk about the standard and the culture and the visions, and everything that you just talked about is why quite frankly we wanted to partner with someone like you. So I think it's really awesome that we can have partners that are all under the same roof, that all have the same standard, the culture, the vision. It's really awesome to see. So I'm super excited to, obviously have you guys on board. And kind of going into that, when it comes to a philosophy type of standpoint, I know we talked a little bit about team standpoint, individual standpoint. What is your philosophy on player development overall when it comes to baseball and softball?
I have a slightly well-known podcast clip that circulates sometimes of me saying that I believe 0 athletes are working hard enough, basically.
I like it.
And to be honest, I went to boarding school, right? So my day at boarding school was like 5 a.m. wake up. I'm in the pool walk to the pool, even if it's cold outside, in the pool at 5:30, out of the pool at 7, in the dining hall by 7:30, to class by 8, in the pool again at 2:30, out of practice at 5, eat at 5:30, in the pool again at 6. Like, then you have to do homework. So that was the world that I grew up in. I think that's the world a lot of us, like, millennials grew up in that played sports. And I think now it's just different, right? Like, parents want to be at everything. So because they want to be at everything, their kids actually end up with less stuff, if that makes sense. There's a lot more time spent on, phones and video games and things like that than we did. So the philosophy is very much that we want to give you all the tools to get better. We're also going to be the people that let your kid know if they're not working hard enough to achieve their goals, right? Like, I had this last week. If I have a kid come in and tell me that he wants to go play Division III baseball in North Carolina, I'm going to do everything I can to help him. I'm going to reach out to Methodist. I'm going to reach out to this guy. I'm going to reach out to the people in Greensboro. I'm going to reach out to everybody that I know, and even the people I don't know, and I'm going to try to help him. But if he's skipping practice on Friday night to go on a date, you better believe I'm blowing up his phone and letting him know that meeting with Methodist is now off, because I don't know what's going on over there. So yeah, you're going to get people that are all in on developing your kid and probably care too much a lot of the time. But we promise that, like, that's why those 3 things are important, right? Do they like it, and how bad do they want it, right? That's why those are important, because if they want it, well, we're going to sure want it for them too, and do everything we can to help them. So,
I love that. And like I said, I've just Blown away, man. I love the entire background, how you guys have things set up. I think it's unique. And, I love having these podcasts because I'm like, man, what could I take back to Michigan that I don't know
Yeah.
about? And it's stuff like that. So I think that's really cool. So kind of touching base back on the community, obviously super tight community. What makes really Hartford Valley and the community around it so unique compared to anywhere else?
I think it's the vulnerability, if I'm
Okay.
being honest. Like, I am not a guy, and I mean, this is honestly hardest for me, but the people we hire like do a great job. Sabrina, who's our softball director, does a great job. Stephanie, Clay, like everyone involved. Bryce, like I'm just shouting out everyone, but like they all do an unbelievable job. But we're very much the type of people that like if I pull the kid too late, I'm gonna be like, hey dude, I'm sorry, right?
Right.
I have a kid who has, shin splints right now. He's a baseball player. Unfortunately, he developed shin splints. He plays football too. It happens. You play a lot on turf, whatever. Um, but there was a situation the other day where he gets a hit. There's like an overthrow somewhere. He's going from first. He probably could get to third if he was healthy, but he's not. I send him to third anyways. I totally blank. He gets hosed. Walk in the dugout, give him a big hug. My man, I'm so sorry. I forgot. You're good. We just laugh it off and we move on. So that
Yeah.
vulnerability we think is really important with these kids and the families too, right? Like it's important for them to know, hey, like it's okay. I made a mistake. Like coach has made that mistake too. So that's something that I think is really important into building that community. Like if you're able to like put your hand up and say like, hey guys, I messed up. That one's on me. That goes a long way. And like, one, I think people trust you now more because they know you're like not just like BSing them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But then two, I think it instills something in your athletes that is important, right? Hey, like hand up, sorry, I didn't take that rep seriously. Hey, my bad, I skipped this or didn't do that. Like, so to answer your question about how we build that culture, I think that's a big part of it. And then just the loyalty aspect, right? Like, I don't know, we've just had these kids forever and they've been obviously very loyal to us and likewise we've been loyal to them. Right? Like we're not always looking to necessarily fill a spot for the next best player. We're looking to develop the athletes that we have. And I think that also helps build a lot of that.
I love that. And like I said, our listeners out there, if you're listening, again, if I'm playing in Connecticut, man, this is the place to go to.
I appreciate that.
You're
Yeah.
saying everything from parents' perspective. New dad over here, so
Yeah.
So as far as opportunities, okay, so obviously Connecticut baseball been around for a long time. I know it's like a lacrosse state and all that kind of jazz. So what makes the new adventure with USA Prime in Connecticut? What are you bringing to your area that is going to give opportunities that some of these players and parents might not know of off the bat? Opportunities, for example, in your area for baseball and softball.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll just give you an example. You and I kind of talked before the show,
Yep.
and we can cut this if we have to, but I don't think we do. But the other USA Prime outlet going up in Connecticut right now, USA Prime Bluefish, and their awesome coach Pedro. We were talking last night, right? Like we both have a really good group of going to be juniors. We both have, a really good group of those guys, and so we're going to combine maybe even with some of the guys up in Massachusetts from that USA Prime New England branch, and we're going to put together a team to play in a few really really big tournaments next summer, and perhaps even this fall as well. Yeah, and so cost of the kids will be minimal because it's USA Prime, so they already have the jerseys.
Yep.
The coaches are already there, so it's like okay, maybe you gotta get entry fee to the tournament or whatever. But there's some really big events up here, especially in the Boston area every year. 50, 60, 70 teams, college coaches all over the place. And I think it'd be really cool. Like our teams already individually do pretty well in those events. So if you take three outlets that already, hold their own in those events independently and you combine them, well, now you're just, I think creating the type of team that everyone would be proud of and that kids certainly would love the opportunity for. So we're going to do that at a few different levels. And then, we also talked about, hey, I'll go back to the example of the kid that wants to play in North Carolina. Well, maybe there's an opportunity in his future to go down and play a tournament with one of the outfits down there and get seen by some schools down there. So I think those kinds of, regional specific, but also, college look at kind of opportunities are always available. And then the other big thing that combining with USA Prime gives us, honestly, is we're going to have a new building again. We're going to have a new, hopefully 13,000 square foot building with state of the art technology that doesn't necessarily come from USA Prime in that way, but comes from it in the sense of like, well, we're able to build this thing with you guys and able to have all these teams, and we're able to, the more kids we have, the more families we have, we can have nicer things, right? So we're really excited about all that, to be honest.
Ooh, that's exciting. I love new buildings. Those always
Well, it's stressful now. It'll be fun in like a month, Nick.
That is true.
Right now, it's not fun.
It'll be worth it, I promise. I got two. It's worth it.
Yeah, I don't know how. I gotta figure out how to get internet to the golf simulator. There has to be a wire through a concrete wall. I don't know. My phone's getting blown up. I don't know.
Oh man. Well, hey man, I know this has been awesome. I love how everything that you guys talked about. The culture behind everything. I think it's a very unique situation. And I know we always talk about it, like, dude, being able to have this network of partners. Hey, I can call up New England. Hey, I can call up the guys from Connecticut and whatever else. To have these connections, I think is just so awesome. I know we're super pumped to have you guys. I know a lot of guys listening to us. I know they're pretty pumped that you guys are going to be in the area. I got my favorite segment right now. So this is my kind of rapid fire questions to kind of get to know Sam. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with this.
Okay.
All right. Favorite MLB team?
Yankees.
Oh, a little Skanks. Okay.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge comes to our place once a year, so that's my little Yankees thing for you.
That's sick. I'll give you a Yankees trivia. Robinson Cano's nephew played at Manchester High School. I don't know what that means.
Wow. All right. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Wild. Favorite baseball movie?
Oh, Trouble with the Curve, Clint Eastwood.
Okay. Nice.
He pretended like he couldn't see. Now he's so old he actually can't see, but that's a good one.
Favorite ballpark? I don't know if you've been to many ballparks, but
so very funny, or very not funny, but tidbit is my dad and I are trying to get to all of them. So we go on a trip every summer. We don't exactly know where we're going this summer yet. Last year, PNC Park in Pittsburgh blew me away. Front row seats to watch Paul Skeens were about $70, but then they also had everything else. Like the food was great. It looks great. The views are amazing. You can walk right from downtown over the Roberto Clemente Bridge. Everything about it was 5 stars.
That's sweet. I love that. Love that place. It's a good building. I think mine's probably. We went to the Padres a little bit ago.
Okay. So we're waiting on that West Coast trip until Oakland fully moves, until the place fully gets built, and then we'll be able to do the whole circle.
Dude, that San Diego, the Padres place over there is unbelievable. It is so cool.
I bet.
Everything's just outside. Maybe I'm used to the cold weather.
No, that sounds awesome.
All right, dream vacation.
Dream vacation.
Yeah.
How much do I want to give away here? I'm probably doing it. My wife and I were going to a bunch of music festival shows, and then we're doing the beach for a week in between in August. So that's pretty ideal. A bunch of music and stuff, hanging out, and then some time on the beach. Maybe a Mets game or something, because we'll be close to Citi Field. So yeah.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. All right, coffee or energy drink guy?
Energy drink. I'm a baseball guy. I'm an energy drink guy.
Have to. If you had to have a walk-up song today, what would it be?
It depends what kind of mood I'm in today. It would be an Omerta by Drake situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. If you could watch one player from any era, who would it be?
Watch one guy?
Watch one guy, or let's make it more interesting. If you could be one player for a season, what guy?
Be one guy for a season. My favorite player growing up, I don't know that I want to be him, but my favorite player growing up was actually Alfonso Soriano. if you
Okay.
remember,
All
if you
right.
remember that throwback.
Oh yeah.
That was my guy. I wore number 12 forever because of him. He played second base for the Yankees. I think he played for the Cubs later on in his career. So he was the guy. My dad also really liked. We really liked Paul O'Neill. A little bit of a hothead, but like, you know, I'm also, so, you know, maybe we get along. Maybe I'd get along inside of his body or whatever. You know.
All right, this is my last one. One piece of advice that you could give a young player kind of coming up through your organization.
Yeah, I think it probably depends on the age. I just had this situation with like an 8-year-old parent yesterday. I was like, just make sure they love it. Like, how we're gonna coach an 8-year-old is very different than how we're gonna coach a 16-year-old. Like, make sure they love it. Make sure they have fun. Make sure they are on a team with their friends. And you know, the community piece is make sure you have a coach that you trust, obviously, because you kind of want to be in a spot where I don't love when these kids move around all the time, because I don't know if it teaches like grittiness and toughness and, you know, sticking it out and things like that. So I don't necessarily love all the movement these days, but I would say like make sure you're in a place where you trust the development process. Whereas then if they're 12, you know, if they're 12, I'm a very big like chase your dreams guy. Like nobody can tell you no. Like if you're 12 and you want to go play college ball or you think you're going to go play in MLB, like go do it. Like go have a great time. Go do it. Yeah. Whereas if you're, you know, 16 or 17, it becomes a little bit more real. Like, hey, dude, instead of just telling me you want to go to college, I got to know the 10 schools that you actually want to go to that you think you can get to. You got to have a good enough GPA, and then we'll work on getting there. So those are, I think it kind of changes by age, but that's kind of how we approach things here.
No, I love that. Any last comments, my man? Anything else you want our listeners to know about USA Prime Hartford Valley?
No, we're really excited. The whole family's involved, so obviously run all the operations stuff. My sister will be more on like the COO end, like kind of, you know, working, you know, books and papers and orders and things like that. My dad's very involved. He's the vice president of Mish, so the league has been for, I don't know, a billion years at this point, and so he'll be in the building all the time. He's very involved in like the backing of the whole operation. And so, yeah, we're just very excited to kind of welcome new people into the family. I think one of the things that we loved about USA Prime, as opposed to maybe some other options, is that the growth wasn't pushed, meaning like you're not worried about if we grow in year 1 or year 2 or year 3. And so that was really good to us because I think it's hard to, you know, grow great teams and, you know, great coaches and all that. So being able to kind of grow slowly with USA Prime in like a strong and like very achievable way, I think is what really attracted us to USA Prime, and I think is why we're excited to be here. So.
No, I love it, man. So hey, Sam, I appreciate you joining us. I know, again, we're excited to have you guys, especially out in Connecticut. You're doing great things, man. So I wish you guys absolutely the best. I know we'll be talking a lot more. Everyone listening, again, if you're a part of Connecticut and you're looking for a player-first organization, you know, that values development, relationships, doing the things that, quite frankly, and not a lot of us really do correctly. Make sure you guys check out USA Prime Hartford Valley. Sam, do you guys got social media type stuff? What do you got? You got an X, Instagram, all that kind of fun stuff?
Yeah, we're USA Prime HV on pretty much everything right now.
Okay.
Softball tryouts are this weekend. We're USA Prime Hartford Valley on Facebook, and then baseball evaluations. Most guys end the season either like this weekend or next weekend. So, or not really this weekend, but usually next weekend. So, fall evaluations will start right after that. So come in for a private fall evaluation. We'll shoot you straight. We'll see what team you fit on or don't fit on, and we'll kind of go from there.
Perfect. I will, guys listening, I will make sure to pin on the bottom US Prime Hartford Valley's website, as long as with their social medias. As always, guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in to Everything USA Prime. Make sure you follow us, subscribe, leave a review, do whatever you got to do. And until next time, Sam, this is new to you, but we always end this thing with a prime on top. So until next time, prime on top.
Prime on top.